This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks get a 119-102 win over the Washington Wizards. And I don't care if the Washington Wizards aren't a good basketball team, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks got the win. That's all I care about. But, there's some things that still need to be done, obviously. Some work that still needs to be done. Because on the defensive side, oh boy, especially in the first half, not the second half, but in the first half, oh boy, a lot of points in the paint. That's really something we got to figure out as a team. But a good win tonight for the New York Knicks. They go down by double digits to the Washington Wizards, to a young Washington Wizards team, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks go down by double digits. They come back and go up by double digits. Then they give the lead back to the Washington Wizards. And then the end of the half, the Knicks take over. All right. 4-point play by Karl-Anthony Towns, who had a monster game tonight. And then in the third quarter, the Knicks just dominated the third quarter. They allowed the Wizards to maybe, go on a little bit of a run in the second half, in the end of the third, fourth quarter, or whatever it was. But the Knicks weren't going to give this game away. There's no doubt about that. The Wizards are just too young. They were just too young to understand how they would defeat or beat the Knicks or what they would do. So a good win from the Knicks. I thought the energy was good. The defense, there's a lot that has to be desired on the defensive end, I think. And without Mitch there was no shot blocker. Guys still going down the lane. Teams running actions that allow teams running action that allows the lanes to be open, and we got to figure that out. We got to figure it out. But I got my man Tony Crow in the building, and we're going to talk about this game here. I really want to talk about K.A.T and the way that he played tonight, because I did feel like K.A.T played with I don't know, what do I want to say? An energy, not an energy, but a mindset that I really haven't seen him play with before. You know what I mean? He was very serious tonight. Very serious. And it's the K.A.T that I want to see. You know what I mean? But I got my man Tony Crow in the building. And, Tony, I just want to know, what did you think about the game? How did you feel about the game? And then we can get into that K.A.T conversation. But how did you feel about this game first?
Because there's a lot to talk about with K.A.T, but I'll be honest, you know what I mean? I spoke to you, before the game. I told you like how we be having bad luck when we miss a loser's lounge. Mm-hmm. And the way this game started, it had me thinking
nervous.
Right, what's going on? Stop
a little nervous
with these kids.
I did.
You know what I mean?
Word.
So, that first half, the defense was non-existent, especially protecting the paint. I mean, it was no type of resistance or anything.
Right.
They were getting right to the rim, dunks, and lobs, putbacks. You know what I mean? Any way you could score inside, they was doing it.
They was doing it.
So that was discouraging. Brunson didn't have a particularly good game, you know what I mean? Especially for his standards.
True.
But we weathered that.
Mm-hmm.
We weathered the non-Brunson minutes, in particular because Cat was on the floor a lot when Brunson was off, and I thought that was an adjustment that Mike Brown made. So shout out to him for that. And yeah, the bench contributed again. I told you I'm gonna keep. I told you I wasn't worried about Clarkson to start the year, and now you know what I mean. This is back to back games where
Yeah.
he's starting to find his role, his rhythm on his team. I think he has to just be himself
Mm-hmm.
and not worry about trying to fit in. They brought him here to be who he is,
Mm-hmm.
and tonight, you know what I mean. It looked like he kind of knew what he was doing.
Well, in the first half, I thought he wasn't fully being himself. He had a few turnovers trying to make the extra pass. A couple of times he went to the lane where it looked like he should have shot it, and instead he tried to make the extra pass. You know what I mean? In the second half, I think he got back to just being himself and playing, the way that he plays basketball. So I do still think he's, kind of figuring out his role and what he should be doing, and how the team might want him to play. I do think there's some of that right now with Jordan Clarkson. Because in the first half, and there were a couple of possessions in a row, you know what I mean, where he either turned the ball over or passed up what could have been a layup, when he got to the basket,
Mhm.
to try to either
That,
kick it
that
out or pass it to someone else underneath the basket. So I think he's figuring out that balance of how do I create for others. Also, how do I just, play my basketball game. So it's definitely coming. And I think the more minutes is helping,
100%.
you know.
Because I was gonna say the stretch you're referring to was after a good start, right? Because he started off very well. You know what I mean? He did have that consecutive turnovers. I think the second one he was trying to find a big. It might have been Yabusele down there. But
Don't try to
to your
find
point,
Yabusele, man. They got nah. Let me stop. But he frustrated me. But yeah.
we'll
Go
get
ahead, go
into
ahead,
that
go
too.
ahead.
You know, um, but then he came down later in the game and made plays. Off those same type of drives to the basket and sprays that like I'm gonna use the coach terminology like I did with Tibbs. So he found the sprays later on in the game too. So I agree with the extended minutes. You know what I mean? With the extended stretches, I think it's he's gonna find his way a lot sooner
Yeah,
rather than later.
yeah. Now I definitely agree with that. Um, I don't know how to say this guy's name. Siassian. I don't know. He says, hey Sim, still worried about the defense. It was okay tonight, but against better teams, this won't cut it. It was it wasn't good in the first half. It was better in the second half. In the first half, it was, they were to the rim relentlessly. Backdoor cuts, backdoor screens, different ways that they got to the basket. And we've got to figure that out. Because if we don't figure that out, again, yeah, against better teams, I agree, we'll be in trouble. And Pressure said those guys got in the paint at will. Yeah, they got into the paint at will. You know what I mean? So we've got to figure that part out. And maybe Mike Brown, as time goes on, you can only focus on one thing at a time. You can't focus on everything, right? So maybe as time goes on, he starts to put in some zone defenses, and they figure it out that way. But right now, that defense is a little bit trouble. You know what I mean? There's some scary moments sometimes. And I think teams around the league see that, if they use a lot of action against the Knicks, backdoor cuts, screens, etc., they can get to the paint.
And even the previous game, we kind of cleaned things up in the second half, right? Defensively, um, started switching a lot more. To start this game, I think we were switching off jump. So I think it may just boil down to the communication. There was a couple times guys missed the switch, or one guy thought you were switching, the other guy didn't. You seen OG and Mikal have a little talking with OG at one point in tonight's game. In that first half, off of a missed assignment. So I think it's going to come with the communication. They just got to, like, defensively, they're going to have to talk every possession.
Yeah.
Like
And of course, last year they were used to Tom Thibodeau schemes. Now you got Mike Brown schemes, right? So there's, like you said, that communication has to be there because there's a new coach in town and you got to play under his schemes, and so it's something different that they've got to learn on the defensive side too. He may have just different ways that he wants to approach a screen and roll or whatever it is. So, that there's going to take some chemistry building on that side of the ball too. And that's why I'm saying we may not see any zone from Mike Brown until later on in the season when he feels like they got the man-to-man defense down first. Because any zone, you got to have man-to-man down first, right? You got to know what you're doing on that side or you got to know what you're doing defensively in man, and then you can play zone. Because when it comes down to it, when someone's in your zone, you're still playing man. And some of those principles will still apply.
Especially when it's attacked or broken.
Yeah. So we've got to be patient there. But man, you look at it and you're like, come on. Sometimes it's just effort to not let these guys, communication, of course, to not let these guys just walk down the lane and score anytime they want to. But then there's effort. And the last two nights, I think they played with effort. I'm not saying they didn't. They definitely played with effort. I don't want Josh calling up here, whining and crying and complaining and getting mad at me because I said the team didn't play with effort. Because he'll do it, won't you, Josh? I know he's out there listening somewhere. You know what I mean? And I know he's going to call up at some point and say, see, if they shoot the ball well, they'll win 90% of the games. I know he's going to say that. I get it. We get that point, Josh. We'll have that conversation.
That statement can be true. We could win 90% of the games if we're shooting well. That doesn't take away that we can't rely on the shooting well to defend. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't take away the fact that the defense has to improve drastically.
And has to be a constant, right? Marcus the Pharaoh, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you 100%. He said, Sim, Tony, what's good? It started to seem like the shots are falling and the team is getting better, getting into an offensive rhythm. But we still need to tighten up on the defense. Yeah, 100%. We've got to tighten up on the defense. You know what I mean? If we don't tighten up on the defense, we will be in trouble when we play better teams, like someone said earlier. We'll be in trouble when we play better teams. We'll be in trouble when we get into the playoffs. Let's believe that Mike Brown is maybe focusing on that offensive side first. Maybe most of the focus is on the offensive side. And then, we'll really get those defensive principles out there on the floor. That's at least what I'm thinking right now.
When it came to like preseason, end of preseason or whatever, he said he was focusing more on the offense because the defense was way ahead of the offense at that point. For what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
So it's just funny how it went from that, and now the offense is getting a little bit better, and now it feels like the defense is worlds away.
Right. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks were led in scoring by Karl-Anthony Towns, 33 points and 13 rebounds. 24 shot attempts tonight for Karl-Anthony Towns. He led the team in shot attempts. He was 12 for 24 from the field. 37.5% from the 3-point line, 85.7% from the free throw line, 5 assists tonight. Let's focus on Karl-Anthony Towns for a minute. He played a phenomenal basketball game tonight, and there was a focus with Karl-Anthony Towns tonight that I hadn't seen him play with. I haven't. This is the first time, in my opinion, like this early in the season. I'm not talking about playoffs. I'm talking about right now where he's played with. He dunked on Sarr, a mean dunk in the first half. Patrick Ewing style dunk, just bully my way to the basket and bang it on him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't shimmy. He didn't yell anything. He stood there for a second, but then he on his way back down the floor. Right? The only time I seen him really celebrate is at the end of the half when he hit the three and he fell on the floor and he did the little, shooting of the fingers. You know what I'm saying? But he had a focus that I hadn't seen him with, and that's the Karl-Anthony Towns that I want to see. I want to see that kind of focus every time he's out there on the floor. I don't need to see a shimmy, a little hand gesture or whatever. Okay, I get it. I just want to see him be stone-faced, serious, and about business when he steps out there on the floor. You know what I mean? When he plays with the type of ferocity that he played with tonight, the focus, the toughness, he's unstoppable. Now, I don't know if it's because he knew, this guy Sarr couldn't hold him, or if it's just his mentality tonight was, I need to get busy. And maybe he was just focused and he was just in that zone tonight. But I want to see that zone from him every time he steps out there on the floor. Just this serious. And I know some people can say, oh, it takes the fun out the game. But you know what? When it's time to win, you got to have that seriousness. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to see from him. Because he's got the talent to be unstoppable. And when he does when he plays the way he played tonight, with that type of focus, not many people in the league are going to be able to stop him. He used his body well. He used his strength well. He made really good decisions about when to shoot the ball, where he was going to shoot the ball. It's like he figured out, and there's going to be nights when he has lapses, but it's like he really figured out where he gets his shots within the system. And so he wasn't thinking about it. He was just playing. But I just like the focus that he had tonight. I just want to see that from him. And I don't know, I didn't even see him smile, barely, out there when he was playing. Normally you see Cat, he might look into the crowd and smile at someone or, have some. He didn't do any of that. He was very, very serious tonight. I would love to see that more often. What do you think about that, Tony?
Well, number one, I think you're 100% right that the mentality shift that he showed today needs to be a constant, right? Mm-hmm. The results may not be the same against every guy you're going against. You know what I mean? Because I do think that had a huge part to do with how he played today. But you got to bring that same type of energy night in and night out.
Right.
Not just numbers wise, because it's the numbers are he's gonna put up numbers, whatever type of attitude he has out there, or however he's, you know what I mean. But this energy, this changes things. He dominated Sarr and Ricochet last year as well. Those two guys in particular. So it could be something personal, or just remember, like sometimes a certain guy got got a guy's number, especially first coming into the league. You know what I mean? Like, so Cat might be bullying him in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, likes to play him or
Right.
whatever. So he could have had some extra energy because of that. But to your point, I think he needs to bring that night in and night out. The 5 assists, that was in the first half. That was in the midst of, you know what I mean, us not playing well and having to fight back and Don Brunson minutes and him carrying us for a stretch, which was great to see. Gotta give Mike Brown props again. I watched a little bit of his post game, and again, he's this is back to back games now where he's taking accountability and he's holding people accountable.
Yeah.
But he spoke about you know him having to find different areas on the floor for Cat to be successful,
Right.
as opposed to him playing in the same spots and making it easier for guys to defend him. If he's only gonna be at the top of the key and playing off of that, you know what I mean, pump fake drive and or shoot, you know what I mean? Like it's very easy to
To
defend.
defend
You
them.
put
Yeah.
him in the post now, and back to that dunk. You know what I mean? He did that with intent. Backed him down. He, two dribbles before he did it, he knew exactly where he was going. You know what I mean? Like you could tell by the intensity in his actions. Like one dribble bumped him, second dribble bumped him. This third one, I'm going up strong, I'm rising, and it's either gonna be an N1 or a basket.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
love what I've seen from him tonight.
Yeah. Definitely. Without a doubt. I love it. 33 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists for Cat tonight. 16 points for OG Anunoby, second leading scorer. He's been one of the top 2 leading scorers, the past few games. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 53.8% from the field, 40% from the 3-point line. 16 points for Jalen Brunson tonight, 9 assists for Jalen Brunson. Didn't really have it going. His shot wasn't going, but he got other people involved tonight. Right? 16 points, 9 assists for Jalen Brunson. Am I right? No. Not. Yeah, 9 assists for Jalen Brunson. 15 points for Jordan Clarkson, who's finding his rhythm off the bench. He was 5 for 8 from the field. He was 40% from the 3-point line, 3 for 3 from the free throw line tonight. Josh Hart, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Knocked down a couple of threes, even with the bad finger. Knocked down a couple of threes tonight. 11 points for Landry Shamet, 5 rebounds. Let's talk about Landry Shamet for a minute because
Got the start.
he got the start, right? Not his first time getting the start this season, but he got the start. Played, we talked about it before the game. We were kind of watching his minutes so we can maybe get an idea of why he's getting the start. Played 24 minutes and 35 seconds tonight. So still that's a good amount of minutes. He likes Shamet, and so he likes Shamet, and I think like we were saying earlier, he wants to hold the rotation. He wants to keep the rotation. So instead of starting Deuce or Josh Hart, you can start Shamet, and you can still hold your bench rotation. Right? And he fits well as a shooter next to Brunson, and he's playing decent defense. You know what I'm saying? So it works well in that lineup with Shaman out there. You know what I mean? What do you think about it?
I also I wonder if it was another opponent, you know what I'm saying? Like he may have said we could use the shooting against this team more than the defense. That might have been his thought process. I'm not saying he was right, especially given how the game started in the first half. But he may have looked at, if we were playing who we got next, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
You know what I mean? I might start Deuce, because I might need him to slow down some of these guards and wings
Right.
as opposed to you know what I mean. So I wondered if that was why he did it. Um, but yeah, he definitely. I mean, even the course of the whole season so far, you can tell he trusts Shaman. You know what I mean. He's been ahead of Clarkson even coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In most of the rotations throughout the year, minutes they've been pretty much even in minutes. You know, slightly maybe a minute more here or there than Clarkson, but the trust is there. So we know that.
Yeah.
He
I,
didn't have a outstanding performance, but you know he came in, played good minutes, did his job.
I think he trusts his decision making. Sean Richardson said the Knicks are hunting wins. Don't let Sim tell you different. I mean, Mike Brown told us something different, but the last few games, I would say yeah, and maybe he realized, you know what, these early wins are going to mean something for us. You know, which is the reason why Mr. Richardson, has cut it down to a 9-man rotation.
9.5.
9.5-man rotation. Yabusele is the half, I guess, right? So he's cut it down to a 9. It's not going to be 11, Sean. It's not going to be 11. And I think you guys see that. I think you see it now, Sean. It's not going to be 11. And,
And
you know, if
you
you want
think
to
it's a
count little 31 seconds or something like that as 11, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll give it to you if that makes you happy. But it's not going to be 11. It looks like it's going to be 9 to me. 9.5.
is it a coincidence that the adjustment happened when we fall under 500?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he realized, you know what? We don't got time to play around. And maybe he came into the season thinking, you know, we're good enough to win these basketball games while, you know, figuring out our lineups and all of that. And I think he quickly realized, no, we're not. Or let me say this, we don't have that kind of chemistry yet to do it. You know what I'm saying? So he adjusted those lineups. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So, you know, he's playing, seriously playing 9 players right now. You know, OG 32 minutes, Mikal Bridges 29, Karl-Anthony Towns 30, Brunson 32, Shamet 24, Yabusele played 13, Josh Hart played 26, Deuce played 14, and Clarkson played 21. All right, if Mitch was here, Yabusele probably would have played 2.
2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3. You know, so, I mean, come on, Sean. You know what's going on. Marcus DeFaro, thank you again for the super chat. Definitely appreciate you. Said, Simitoni, do you have Yabusele on the trading block yet? I damn sure do. Yo, I definitely have him on the trading block. I've had him on the trading block for a little while. I'm just not impressed with him. I just don't know if he really fits with what's going on, and I think he'll be situational. I think he'll be a situational player for us very soon. You know, as soon as Mitch is back fully healthy, I think he'll be a situational player. You agree with that, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, last 2 games, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Tonight, you know, we got a big out, and he got an opportunity, and you know, he has yet to really have a defining Nick moment yet. You know what I mean? So I'll say it's only uphill from you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean from what we've seen so far.
Right.
Um, and he got the opportunity over Porty, right? So that in itself says something tonight for Mike Brown. Whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a belief, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying he took advantage of the opportunity. Um, if we move him at this point, he hasn't had any real positive value like as of yet. So I wouldn't feel
Yeah,
any disdain about it. But
yeah, I
I don't
wouldn't
even
either.
know if his value outside is anything. So like I'm not moving him just to move him.
Right. And
I think
people,
it's still
yeah,
upside there.
people are gonna look right now and say, you know what, he's on a championship contender, and he really can't produce. He's not producing. You know what I mean? At least that's what I think. How people will see Yabusele right now, or see him right now. Let's see what happens as the season progresses, and if he gets better, then maybe people will say, okay, we see how he's producing, and what the value that he can bring to a team. But right now, teams are probably saying, so I don't know, like maybe we get a second round pick for him, unless he's with a package.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if for him to have value right now, somebody from the other team, they would have to have lost somebody, like somebody got hurt
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We got to fill this void at the 4, you know what I mean, or at the 4 or 5. But like it would have to be something like that. I think. Um, yeah, he got time though. He got time. He looked like he lost a couple of pounds. Um, in today's game. I don't know if he's been on the treadmill or whatever, you know what I mean? But that's something that he's gonna have to continue if you know what I mean, or start if that's not the case. Getting some better shape. He's
Right.
getting opportunities. He's been getting open shots, open looks all year long.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think he's more in his own head right now than he is then it's like a lack of skill or lack of talent. Like I think the talent is still there. He's probably in the newest. He probably came in thinking his role would be a little bit different than what it's been so far.
Do
So he's kind of
so
also learning the system, but also learning how to fit in the system
do you think he came
on the
in?
fly.
Do you think he came in feeling like he didn't have to work for it? Like he already had a spot. You know what I'm
100,
saying? Not that he didn't have to
100.
work for it, but thinking, I got signed.
I get exactly what you're
My
saying, and
minutes are
yes,
guaranteed.
Yes, 100%. Because I'm sure, number one, in the off season, I'm sure he had value, right?
Mm-hmm.
He felt undervalued by Philly. Um, I'm sure we weren't the only team out there that would have given him the contract that he got. Yeah, I do think he felt like he was a definitive rotation player. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna put a cap on the minutes, but he definitely thought he was gonna be a more of a rotation
More,
player than
yeah,
what we would consider a situational guy.
yeah. That's kind of a bad sign. A little
I
bit.
don't know. Yes and no, because and that also depends on the whole weight thing too, right? Because if he played at that same weight in the Olympics, then I'm looking at it a little bit different than if he actually put on some more pounds between
Mm-hmm.
the Olympics and coming here, because that's a bad sign to me. You know what I mean? But if you played as well as you played in, not the Olympics, pardon me, the Euro Cup at that weight, then you might have felt like, all right, this is my good, like I'm good at this weight, and it could just be more of him trying to figure out what he needs to do in this system. Be honest, for him to succeed, I think number one, like I said from game one, he's gonna have to hit the open threes that he's getting, which he hasn't really done thus far. But he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to be a like a garbage man on this team and do the dirty work, and that will be enough to kind of make your impact in the game. Then you can start doing other stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
Right
what?
now, he really looks lost.
So when
He
I'm
looks
saying,
lost on defense and offense.
so when I'm saying bad sign, I'm saying like in mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's certain players in the league, they know they're gonna come in and play with whatever team that they're on. And it's certain players that probably don't know. Like if he thought, if in his brain he was like, yeah, I got guaranteed minutes, da 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 da, that was a mistake by him. You know what I mean? I would want him to be like, yo, I'm going here. It's a new team, new players, new coaches. I've got to come in to prove myself just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy, Sin, though? I wouldn't be surprised if he felt that way. I wouldn't be surprised if Brogdon came in thinking that. I wouldn't be surprised if Buxton came in feeling that way. Um Shamit may be the only person that didn't have that mentality. Not only not only because he was non-guaranteed as just like Brogdon was, but also based off of what he went through last year, where he worked, you know what I mean? Theoretically, he worked his way into the rotation
Yeah.
and then lost his opportunity because of injury and had to, you know what I
Right.
mean, fight his way back. So he might be the only one that came in with that mentality as I gotta earn this spot. I gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
I feel that way, but I agree with you in the same sense.
but
Like
like someone like
you should never think that way.
yeah, but someone like Jordan Clarkson has kind of earned his stripes
In the league,
in
yes,
the league. That's what I mean, right? He's earned his stripes
but
in the league. You
but
know,
Yabusele getting the contract that he got, the taxpayer exception or whatever, that in itself can make you feel
yeah,
valued. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I guess,
I agree with you though.
I mean, I
It's
guess,
not wise to
I
think
mean,
that way.
like, I don't know. I just think that people kind of know where they are in the league. And maybe some people, and that's what I mean about a faulty mindset. Like Sean is saying, Sim really don't know how good Yabu was for Philly last year. I did see him play. I get it. I understand. Philly wasn't a championship level team last year. They wasn't.
Which means he had more showcase, more opportunity,
Exactly.
more time on the court. Like his time on the
And-
court last year was not. It probably doubled from the expectation.
yeah.
Whether and I might not be saying that from his perspective, but I'm saying from the perspective of the coaching staff, the organization bringing him in.
Yeah.
He got way more opportunity than he was expected to,
Yeah.
which is
And
probably why they didn't want to
yeah.
up
Well,
his pace so much.
exactly. Because okay, Sean says, I don't really know how good he was last year. If he was that good, then maybe Philly should have been better. And I know I know they had injuries and all of that stuff. Maybe they should have been better. What it goes to show you is that somebody had to do it. But now when he gets on a team where there's more talent, we see what we're seeing. You understand? And Philly obviously understood that. And so for my mindset, if I'm a player like him, I'm more like, well,
I gotta prove it again.
I gotta prove it again. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I let me prove it again. I'm coming here. It's talent here. Mad talent. Let me come in and prove it. I don't know what his mindset was. I'm not saying that was his mindset. I'm just saying if that was his mindset, maybe that was a mistake by him. And, and listen, I guess, he performed well in the summer. So maybe he's like, yo, you know what? I'm hitting my peak form right now.
Confident.
I've arrived. I'm about to go,
Yeah.
I arrived. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know. But Sean, as much as you love what he did in Philly last year, I do not like what he's doing in New York this year.
I will say he's slowly learning, I think, what his role is on the team, right? Like it's not perfect yet, but I think he knows more times than not he's the guy that has to come set the pick. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like right now he's gonna have to play like Mitchell Robinson in the sense of we're not running plays for you. You know what I mean? We're not giving you the ball to say go do what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those opportunities are going to be very few in between.
Right.
You're going to have to set hard screens. We might have to set 3 in one possession. You know what I mean? Like roll hard, get the rebound. Like you're going to have to do the dirty work and then hit open shots.
Yeah.
You do that, your role could expand. You know what I mean? Over time. But right now, you're not even mastering like the essentials of what we need you to do.
Yeah. 820, Walter White said that's Clarkson's issue as well, adjusting to the drop in usage. He'll adjust and we'll be happy we have him heading towards the play. He's already adjusting. And I think his usage now, the new usage that you're seeing from Mike Brown with Jordan Clarkson is definitely helping him, and he's going to be fine, as I think we see. Right? We're not going to have an issue with Jordan Clarkson. I think he's going to be fine. He's just listen. Clarkson's been in the league a while. He gets it. He knows what's happening out there. Let's talk about the Wizards for a second. I know it's a Knicks show, but let's talk about the Wizards as we go through their box score. Very, very young team. I mean, I'm looking at the game like, damn, they got mad kids out there on the floor. Just mad kids on the floor. You know what I'm saying? They do have some talented guys. But it's a learning process for them. Alex Sarr, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists for Sarr tonight. He led the team in scoring. Keyshawn George had 15 points tonight. Corey Kispert had 15 points tonight. Trey Johnson had 10 points, 4 rebounds for the Washington Wizards. But they're a young team that, there's a lot of growth and learning that has to happen there. Then you got C.J. McCollum out there, 21 minutes tonight, only had 5 points. They're a young team that's going to be going through it for a little while. What can you say? I know we're going to be doing a Lucis Lounge, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Wizards, but, what's your thoughts about the Wizards?
Oh, I was going to say I'm going to reserve most of my Wizards talk for the next show, but I do want to say they have no incentive to win anyway, right? We still own that pick, right? That converts to 2 seconds if it don't convert this year, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? They have no incentive to have a draft pick under top 8 or top 9, whatever the protections are. So they got no incentive to win. Yeah. They're gonna keep trotting out these young guys and giving them experience. You know what I mean? But people should know, man, the process don't usually work.
That tanking process don't work, man. You gotta start winning basketball games. You gotta win games. That's the experience. You know what I mean? Philly obviously tried it for years, and obviously then nothing came of it. But they got some young talent over there, and we'll see how they form. We'll see how they develop. You know what I mean? The problem is nobody ever wants to go play for the Wizards. You know what I'm saying? No one wants to play for the Wizards. So how do you get free agents to come and? What do you do?
It's not just nobody wants to play for them. You know what I mean? Like, not too many people want to stay there either.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean. So it's like you gotta You got to find hoopers. You got to find diamonds in the rough, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You
That
know,
that 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 want the opportunity to be who they could be,
yeah.
become somebody, as opposed to ready-made players.
Yeah. You know, it's DC. They should be a marquee team. I don't know. Kev said, seems like everyone learns how to hit threes against us. That has to change. Man, that's been happening to us for the last 4 years, right? Teams come and play us, and all of a sudden they're 3-point sharp shooters. I don't know. I mean, the Wizards shot 37% tonight, 13 for 35. What do you think? You know, I don't know. What is it? Because Mike Brown plays a different scheme than Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau played a scheme that was more, we're gonna play the percentages. We'll let you shoot the three. Not that they were gonna just let you shoot the three, but they defended the paint more, right? Which left the three open, and we got mad at that.
I think part of the analytics, the reason the 3-point shot is even more prevalent than ever, and especially when you're shooting volume, is also the hardest shot to block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the hardest shot to defend without fouling, right?
Yep, and they protect
So
I think the shooters.
I think that's what it is more. I don't think it's a us thing. I think it looks like that because we watching Knicks games. You know what I mean? But I think the league just shoots so many threes now that it looks, you know what I mean? It's hard to defend it. It's hard to defend threes, especially if you're shooting 40 in a game. You know what I mean? Like if you play the averages, if you're defending 20 of them, you're probably fouling on three of them,
yeah,
5 of them if you're aggressive.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's very hard to defend the three today in today's NBA. You know, they protect the shooters. Yeah, it's difficult to defend the three. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You know, let's see how it goes for the remainder of the season when when our defense tightens up. You know, we have more defensive schemes. Let's see what happens then. Right now, teams are definitely shooting a decent 3-point percentage against us, though. And even in wins, they're shooting a good 3-point percentage. You know. Let's see. The Knicks tonight, we took 41 threes. We were 36.6% from the 3-point line. What do you think we end up shooting for the season? What do you think our average is going to be?
I like the 40 range, to be honest. I like the 40 range. That 54, 50, whatever. I think that's too much.
No,
I think that's too much.
Okay. I agree. I agree with that 100%. I guess I was saying percentage.
What's that
do you
percentage
think?
going to be?
What do you think will be percentage-wise for the season?
I'm gonna say 37.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
30,
see
36, 37.
Yeah. And see, 30 to me, 36, 37 isn't prolific enough to shoot 54 threes.
54. I was gonna say. Yeah. But
You know what I mean?
I also think the more we shoot, the lower, like I'm saying 30, 37, because I think it's gonna drop because we're shooting more. You know what I mean? But yeah, if we're shooting 50 something, I think it drops even more than that.
If we're shooting 50 something percent?
No, 50
if we're
something
shooting
threes.
50 something threes,
I think it's gonna drop even lower.
I don't think we're gonna shoot 50 something threes. I think as time goes on, Mike Brown is gonna figure out a happy medium with this team. You know what I mean? I do. I think there's gonna be a happy medium, just as far as how we how we play the game offensively. I don't think
And I don't know.
it's just constantly going to be running gun, running gun, running gun, running gun, running gun. I think there's going to end up being a happy medium because of the type of players we have. We don't have long, thin, athletic guys all over the place, especially our two stars. They're not long, thin, athletic guys. Yes, you can play you can play a faster pace just by passing the ball up, but right now that's not what we've shown that we're doing. And if we continue to play this style, the way that we are playing with speed, it's not passing it up. It's still kind of dribbling it up, but then passing in the half court at a faster pace. I think if we continue to play that type of basketball, it's going to be tougher on Cat and Brunson. So I think there's got to be some half court. There's got to be some times where you slow it down in the half court with these two. It doesn't have to be the entire game, but I think there's got to be some moments where that happens. And so I do think there'll be a happy medium that's found, between as the season goes on. I think there'll be a happy medium that's found.
I don't know if it's Mike Brown or if it's the team, but I also feel like we're taking less bad threes. You know what I mean? And that could be the difference from shooting 50 threes in a game and 40-something threes in the game, eliminating the bad ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like early in the first five games, we were shooting a lot of bad threes. Just to say, all right, we penetrated and sprayed. We did the spray. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to eliminating the bad ones and taking the quality ones. Like
Right.
Mikal almost, whether make or miss, I think he's taking good shots.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, Cat, I thought he took one bad three tonight. It was like almost a logo three, like, but you know what I mean? But for them, you know what I mean? That's down from the past couple games where I felt like he was taking a lot of threes that were 2-3 feet too far away, where you got space to take a step or two in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And up your percentage chance of making it.
Right.
So OG takes pretty good threes for the most part. He may not set all the time. He may rush instead of setting, but to me, that's the difference between a good three for him and a bad three.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You square up, and I think it becomes a good shot.
Yeah.
Same thing with Clarkson. You know what I mean? So I think they eliminate the bad ones. We could still get to 40 and then shoot a much better percentage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Marcus the Pharaoh said we're gonna slow down by mid-November. We just about there, bro. That's a week from now. Like, we right here. The Knicks,
We got
ladies and gentlemen.
5 more home games.
Yeah. 5 more home games. Nice homestand for the Knicks. 119-102 victory over the Washington Wizards. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks win the battle of the boards, 49-44. 32 assists for the Knicks tonight after having 30-plus assists last night against the Chicago Bulls. 12 steals for the Knicks, 3 blocks, only 12 turnovers for the Knicks. The Wizards had 20 turnovers tonight. Young team.
And we had a lot in the first quarter, right?
Who, the Knicks?
Yeah, then we had
we had a few in the first quarter.
5.
We didn't play that great of a first quarter. 36.6% from the three-point line for the Knicks, 37.1% for the Wizards. The Knicks shot 80% from the free throw line. The Wizards, 42 points in the paint. A lot of that was in the first half. The Knicks tightened up in the second half. The Knicks, 52 points in the paint, 14 second chance points for the Wizards, 8 for the Knicks, 16 fast break points for the Knicks, and 8 for the Washington Wizards. Regardless that it was the Washington Wizards, ladies and gentlemen, it was a good win for the Knicks. You know what I mean? A good win, a much needed win. To win 2 games, win 2 games in a row. Now we played Minnesota. That's that's going to be. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's going to be a much better game, much better defense. You know what I mean? And more energy in the crowd. It's not the Wizards coming in. It's the Timberwolves. So there's going to be some more energy going on out there. Marcus Farrell said, "I'm good with 40 threes per game. Pray to God we don't go over because it's not our strong point." Yeah, 40. 40 would be decent. 40 attempts would be decent. Any key plays or decisions for you tonight?
See, I would put like player of the game for that as that dunk, that first dunk that Cat got on when he backed him down.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a more pivotal play was the 4-point play because that let us go into the half with the lead. And
yeah. 3-point lead, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we was going back and forth at that point at the end of the second quarter, and it wasn't encouraging. Like, so to end the half with that 4-point play, get us back up front with a little bit of a cushion at that. You know what I mean? I'll give that as the play of the game. The play of the game.
Okay.
Kind of going to the half with the momentum.
Okay. I don't know if there's any key plays or decisions for me. That might be a key right there, going into the half with the momentum. I think my key tonight was K.A.T's focus, like I talked about earlier. He was really the engine tonight, and his focus kind of drove the team to me. He was just so laser focused, and I want him to keep that kind of focus. He becomes such a better player, in my opinion, if he's focused like that all the time. I think he becomes just a better player. So I really hope that he keeps that focus, never loses it. And maybe this is a growing point for him. He understands. He understands he's got New York. He's got New York on his chest and what comes with that. You know what I mean? And tonight was a night that, when I looked at him play, I seen, and maybe it's the grit and grind of New York that makes him, that's making him, that's toughening him up. Because when I seen him tonight, I was like, this dude is focused. And I'm not just talking about the dunks and that he was scoring. It was, just his body language afterwards. You know what I'm saying? It's like, boom, I banged on him, and I'm walking down, I'm going down to the other end like, okay, that's what I do every night. You know what I'm saying? Not some big celebration and all of that. Not that there's anything wrong with that with some people, but someone, who's at his stature right now and is, really on a mission, that's not a victory for you anymore. You know what I mean? That's run of the mill. That's what you do. It's not a victory anymore. And I like that he approached the game that way. And I hope he continues to approach the game that way. The victory is when you win the championship. You know what I mean? That's the victory. That's the one you celebrate. All these other things, I did it before. And I think if we get Cat with that kind of focus, it's going to trickle down to everyone else. Brunson already has that focus, right? Everyone else is going to come with that focus and approach too. And if this team has that kind of focus, sky's the limit, to be honest with you, in my opinion. Sky's the limit. So Cat is definitely my player of the game. He's my player of the game, just from that focus alone.
Tim, I would like to officially add a segment after player of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add unsung hero of the game.
Okay, let's do that.
And I want to give that to Josh Hart.
All right.
Back-to-back great performances from him. Even the 2 back-to-back threes he hit tonight aside, I felt like his impact tonight was, back to doing Josh Hart things. And I was actually going to come in here before he hit them threes and just give him the credit and the kudos to still be taking them, which he's been doing, make a miss, but also making himself a threat, not forcing the three and getting to the basket. You know what I mean? And that's been a difference maker because he's a great finisher, and he's been on a roll, attacking the rim, finishing at the rim, getting fouled, sometimes not getting a call, but you know what I mean, just making an impact in more than just and not making his deficiencies hurt us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Rebounding, assists, getting to the rim and scoring. Yeah. Unsung hero tonight. Hopefully we could remember to add that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll definitely add that segment. Well, yeah, we'll add that segment. Unsung hero of the night. And man, if he can hit threes like he did tonight, one or two of them, it adds so much. And already what he's doing off the bench, right? Coupled with Clarkson and Deuce. As long as our bench continues to play like this, I mean, our bench is tough, and we can attack you with that bench. We can attack you with that bench. So kudos to Mike Brown for making the adjustment to say, I got to cut some of these guys back so that my guys that can hoop can get out there and hoop. And we can make our bench better by taking some guys away. You know what I mean? So kudos to Mike Brown for that. Next game, we play Minnesota. We play Wednesday, and then we get some days off. We don't play again until Sunday. Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo coming back into the Garden. There's going to be some energy in the Garden. K.A.T was asked about playing against Minnesota, and I loved his answer. He said, I play for the Knicks. That's all I'm worried about. You know what I mean? Minnesota's a good team, good defense. It's going to be some energy. What do you expect from this game?
More competition, obviously. So, number one, I'll start with a bounce back game from from Jalen Brunson. I think that trend that, he don't usually have back-to-back subpar games. So I think that's going to start. Hopefully, we want Cat to bring that energy every game, but hopefully this is a nice incentive to bring it again, playing against your former team. They're gonna want to win. They playing under man with Edwards out, but you can't look at that as no advantage.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta stop the guys that's in front of you. But yeah, I expect a bounce back game from Brunson and him to lead the pack. I think it's gonna be a win.
Yeah.
So far, so good. You know what I mean? Keep this home winning streak going, and
Listen,
let's make the Garden scary again or mean something.
Listen, we can't let Randall come in and eat us up.
Yep.
Because
he's gonna try.
Right. But listen, he's having a hell of a season so far. It's only 6 games in. But he's having a hell of a season. 27 points per game, shooting 56% from the field, shooting 47% from 3, 82% from the free throw line. He's getting there almost 7 times per game. 6.5 rebounds, 5.2 assists per game. He's having a heck of a season so far. He's having an all NBA season so far. He took a dip last year. Maybe part of that was going to a new team or whatever. But so far this season, he's, someone asked me about Minnesota. I think I was on Barbershop Sports Talk, and they asked me, they said, what do you expect from the Minnesota Timberwolves? And do you think they can compete? And I said, I'm going to tell you what, I know everyone talks about Anthony Edwards. But in order for them to be a championship level team, Julius Randle has got to have an All NBA season, right? Because he is the second guy. Anthony Edwards, you know what you're gonna get. Julius Randle's got to have an All NBA type of team. He doesn't have to be an All NBA player. He doesn't have to be put on the All NBA team, but he's got to have an All NBA type of season. You know what I mean? In order for them, because they got to have a number 2 guy. And right now, he's doing that. Now, how much of that is because Anthony Edwards is out? I don't know. But right now, Julius Randle is having a monster season so far. So we can't let him come to the Garden and cook like that. You know what I mean?
OG's matchup?
Probably. I would think so. That should be OG. You know, OG should be guarding him. You know, but those are some monster numbers right there. And he's only shooting 16.8 shot attempts per game. It's all because he's shooting the ball well.
Yeah, he's gonna let it fly on Wednesday.
And, you know, Randle is like the type of player. You know, if he starts off shooting the ball well in the season, it normally sticks. If he starts off not shooting the ball well, he'll have good games, but it kind of happens that way with Randle. So we'll see. We'll see how, we'll see. We can't let him come to the Garden and do his thing. So
anybody going to the Garden,
OG.
make sure you cheer and don't boo him. Mess up his whole psyche. Julius Randle.
Right.
Mess
You know
up his
what I'm
whole
saying?
psyche.
So OG got to come ready to do his thing. Can't let Randle get off that way. OG got to come ready and ball out. You know what I mean? I got my man Silk on the line. Silk, what's popping with you, bro? How you feeling?
What up, Sim? What up, Tony? What's going on, y'all?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Doing good.
Yo, now I ain't gonna say nothing. You just said OG got to come correct against Randle. This is when Big
defensively,
Boy gotta show up. Put that Big Boy weight
defensively.
against Randle, man. This is when we need Big Boy.
Who? Big Boy? Yabusele?
This is when we need Big Boy.
Man, I don't know.
Stand in front of Randle. Your big body against his big body. This is what we got Big Boy for Pascal Siakam and Julius Randle type.
Yeah, he's not a defender.
I don't care. Just put that big body in front of him. That BBL can stop him by himself. Put that big body in front of him. I don't care. Just stay in front of him.
Man, I put Deuce on him before I put Yabusele.
There you go. Throw Deuce out there. Because you know how Randle does when he got little guys on him. He gets nervous. He's going to get a pick up an offensive foul and, can't play right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know. That's the only problem. That's why we got Yabusele for dudes like Randle and Pascal. Big dudes who body up OG. Randle is stronger than OG. Even when he played in Toronto. OG had trouble dealing with Randle's physicality. That's why they look so good when the OG first came here, because I ain't got to guard Randle no more.
But who else is going to guard him?
I know.
I mean, Yabusele probably will guard him a little bit, but
hopefully you're not. He can help out. His size will help out against Randle. That's the only thing I can hope for. His size, Mitchell Robinson's size will help out against Randle. Physicality.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough cover. I don't want to put Cat on him because I don't want Cat picking up fouls.
Oh, nah. I know they like the Kentucky thing, but no, I don't want Cat against Randle.
Don't want him picking up fouls.
That's the only thing I worry about when they play each other. They try to go at each other.
Yeah. Say that again, Silk.
I said that's why I don't like when Minnesota nuts, because Randle be looking at Cat, Kentucky against Kentucky, and they all be trying to go at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. Come on, my boy Cat, stay focused. Don't do the Kentucky thing, because that's what Randle wants.
Yeah. Well, Randle's going to come in and try to do his thing. We got to stop it. We can't let it happen. Maybe the pressure will get to him. Maybe he's got bad memories in New York, and he's like, and he's stressed about it. Like, damn, here I go. I got to go back to the Garden. I know I'm
call
hear
his
this.
Man, call him up. Tell him he got something. Maybe we'll slow him down a little bit. Yeah, let me ask you a question on the real. How do you feel about? I'm seeing lately They try to make Cat a little Randall. He driving to the hole and he just ain't running through people no more. He's trying to dish it out to the corners inside. Cat's actually trying to drive and dish. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, he can pass. Cat's a good passer. He's gonna draw defenses.
He get in the paint. He didn't go through everybody, but now he's stopping and he's trying to pass it out.
He's good. I'm sorry. JJ said BBL. Wow, my bad. I'm laughing about that. But I mean, he's a good passer. He's gonna draw defenses. You know, why not let him pass it out?
I'm liking that. If he ain't gonna shoot the stop and pop, shoot and pass. Stop and pass. Do something. Don't keep going till you get to the rim. You're not always gonna get there.
Right.
That's something that killed me with Cat. He be trying to get all the way to the rim. There's 3 guys in front of you, bro. Somebody got field.
Yeah.
So you ain't gonna stop and shoot it. At least pass it. I'm kind of like that. He's starting to do that these past couple of games. He's actually dribbling. Guys coming in front of him. He jump up. I don't like that jumping up Randall style, but he's passing the ball. And some guys are actually open.
I mean, that's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, let that continue. And the more he gets used to the offense, he'll know who to pass to and he'll make even better plays. So without a doubt.
And let me ask you guys one question. Do you think because Clarkson is hot now and he could do one-on-one stuff, something that Deuce did, and Deuce's minutes is starting to look like it's going a little down?
Well,
do you have a problem with Deuce getting less minutes than Jordan Clarkson? I'm not sure about that on the defensive side.
Did he got less minutes today than Jordan Clarkson? Let me see.
I think so. I think Jordan got more minutes today than he did.
Let's see.
Yeah, I thought you said like 14.
Yeah. Jordan Clarkson had 21. Deuce had 14.
How you feeling about that?
Well, I mean, Jordan, that's tonight.
He's had a tougher game than me.
Let's see what happens when we play a better team, and that defense is needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But if it's a routine now that Jordan's getting more minutes than Deuce, how do you feel about that?
If he's producing, I want to win.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? As long as he's producing, I don't care who's on the floor, as long as they're helping us win and producing. What can I say?
Because I couldn't saw him pushing out some kind of big man in the paint. Jordan Clarkson. I'm like, all right, Jordan, you get a little spicy in the paint.
Yeah, I mean,
he actually was going against the big in the paint. And he pushed them out.
Right. I mean, what can we say? As long as we are winning, that's all I care about.
All right.
And if the formula is working,
right?
If the formula is working, you rock with it. That's it.
Since I ain't gonna lie, that first quarter had me. Oh, here we go again.
Me too. Me too.
Are we coming out sluggish again?
Me too. Me too.
I like back to back. What is this back to back? The last game wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
But
as soon as Sean Richardson stopped watching the game, we started winning.
Yeah, funny.
As soon as he stopped watching, we started winning. He doesn't even know that I know that. As soon as he started watching the Cowboys game or something, we started winning.
You know when I knew we're gonna have a good game? As soon as I saw the pregame and the coach, whoever that shooting coach is, kept passing Hart the ball, and he was hitting threes back to back. Like, hold up, so Hart hitting threes in pregame?
Yeah.
Maybe we got something. Yeah. That guy need a raise. If he get Hart shooting 40% from three with a bent finger, get that man a raise. I ain't lying.
Let's see if it.
I know.
Let's see if it continues. You get a hot night every once in a while. Let's see if it continues.
2 for 4 tonight. Hart get a hot 2 weeks. Hart get a hot 2 weeks, then you don't see that streak no more.
Yeah.
for the whole year.
You know what I'm saying?
He get 2 weeks of hot shooting.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, just take them. Just take them.
I know.
Just take them. Even if he doesn't make them all, well, he's not going to make them all, but just take them. Keeps the defense honest.
You know he ain't gonna do that. After he misses one, he gonna be faking and trying to go through the hole. That's who Hard is. We gotta accept who Hard is. That's who he is. He's a hustle muscle, finishes around 3 big men. I don't know how he be making them finishes around the rim and they don't be blocking his shot, but he do it. But he never gonna be a sniper. Our sniper, Dante, is gone. We just gotta admit that. We don't have a sniper on this team. Fox is not a sniper. Deuce is not a sniper. We lost our sniper to get Cat. The Cat has to be our big man sniper. We just gotta accept it. But we got hustle players and we got guys that can score. But we ain't got no sniper.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Sean said,
right,
Tony.
fellas.
All right, Silk. Appreciate you, bro.
All right.
Tony, Sean said, is Deuce inconsistent to you?
No, I think he's very consistent. Deuce is all right in my book.
Yeah, I mean,
And he's one of the balanced one, you know what I mean? Both sides of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We only got 3 of those guys really that are, good at both ends of the floor.
Mm-hmm. And Deuce brings what I want the Knicks to bring every night. Did you see the foul? You saw the foul in the first half, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that they called a flagrant foul.
Flagrant.
But I loved it, though. I didn't care that it was flagrant. He wasn't going to let him get an easy layup.
I thought he was trying to save himself, though, to be honest. but
I mean, he came up for the block, and when he missed it, he grabbed him. I mean, I don't know. I thought he was just not letting him get the layup. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to let him because he knew once he missed that block, he was gonna get the foul call anyway. So it was like, I'm just not gonna, I'm gonna get the foul call anyway. I ain't gonna give him the layup.
Mm-hmm.
I love the energy that he brings to the game every night. Every night, Deuce is just always gonna be. He's always gonna hustle. He's always gonna play hard. He's not afraid to defend anybody. You know what I'm saying? I love what he brings, and we need that on this team. We need it, and he brings it. So I'm not mad at Deuce, and I know he's not gonna have, consistently shoot or consistently score 15 a game and all of that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, but Deuce is gonna come out. He's gonna bring energy. He's gonna bring desire. He's gonna bring that to the floor. You know what I mean? And we need that. We need more players to bring that to the floor. But Deuce, is gonna bring it to the floor. So it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna head over to the Losers Lounge. Got a Losers Lounge tonight. All right, a double Losers Lounge tonight. You know what I mean? So stay tuned. Give us a couple of minutes to get set up and get ready. And we'll be over there. We're going to log off for here. And then we're moving on over to the Losers Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. We appreciate you. I'll see you Wednesday on the Postgame show. I'll give you an update on how, I played my first league game on Wednesday, 6:30. I'm ready. Eating my salads. I don't want to go in there like Yabusele. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going in as a team that's already established. I'm just going in to fit in, hustle, you know what I mean, and slowly get into rhythm with the team. You dig?
I was gonna say, don't automatically assume you're in the rotation. Nah. You know what I mean? No, you gotta earn your minutes.
Gotta earn them. I'm gonna go in there. I mean? I'm gonna go in there, bust my ass all over the floor, play hard. And get used to what's happening, what's going on, and go from there. But I'll be back. Post-game show. I already got a sprained ankle right now, so I'm going to be playing on a sprained ankle.
Dedication.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're not, they're not going to sit me like Mitch.
No load management?
No load management. Because we only got 7 players. I'm the 7th guy. Ain't got time for load management. You know what I mean?
Did Tibbs call you back yet?
Yeah. He called me back. He told me to tell Sean to shut the hell up. He said, keep his mother freaking name out of his mouth.
But nah, is he coaching?
Nah, he said he got other jobs lined up.
He's still helping the Celtics out, I guess.
So dang, East Blue said, get them Diawara minutes. Wow. That's crazy. Sean said, I'm already making excuses. I mean, I literally did sprain my ankle the other day. I didn't sprain it where I can't play on it. I just kind of twisted it. Let's say that. Sean probably never played sports and doesn't even know what a sprained ankle feels like. Come on, Sean. Anyway, we're up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you over on the Losers Lounge. Sean, come over to the Losers Lounge so I can talk about you some more. You know what I mean? Folks, I appreciate your time. And we're out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is